Good morning, everyone. We are learning Mishna Kesubos, Perek Yud Gimel, chapter 13, Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Okay, Ha'erer ala Soda, one who challenges the ownership of a field, V'chasam aleh be'ed, and he himself is signed as a witness. Now the story is like this. Okay, we have, of course, Reuben, Shimon, and Levi. Now Reuben challenged Shimon, and he says like this: Shimon, you bought a field from Levi. Levi stole that field from me. So you don't have a right to this field. It's my field. So again, Reuben says to Shimon, the field that you have, this field that you have, belonged to me, and Levi stole it from me and he sold it to you. That's his claim. There's only one problem. The bill of sale that was written between Levi and Shimon, guess who signed as a witness on it? Reuven himself. So like, hello, if this was stolen from you, why are you signing on a sale of that field? It would seemingly be pretty clear that if you signed on the sale of the field and you said nothing about it at the time, that that you agree that this field can be sold. So what do we do here? Again, Reuven is saying that Shimon's field was his field that Levi stole, but when Levi sold it to Shimon, Reuven signed as a witness on the bill of sale. So what does Reuven have any claim? So Adman, who is the judge we've been mentioning until now, the different decisions that he made that others argued on him, Adman says, Yachalu Sheimar, Reuven is able to say, the one challenging is able to claim, Hasheni Noyachli, the second one is easier for me, Varishan Kashe Menu, and the first one is more difficult than him. Meaning, Reuven says like this, you know why I participated in the sale? Because I wanted that field to get to you. Because when it gets to you, I'll be able to get it back. Levi is too tough a guy. He's got too many lawyers. He's got too much money to pay the lawyers. And that's just using a contemporary example. But the point that Levi is way too strong for me to deal with. There is no way that I would have been able to have, he's not a guy, even if I take him to Beis Din, he's not a guy who's going to listen to the Beis Din. You, I know, will listen to the Beis Din. That's the way to say it. And therefore, he says like this, you know why I participated in this whole thing, this whole shenanigan? Because I really wanted the field to land up by you so that I can take you to Beis Din and get the field back. Why didn't I do that by Levi? He's too tough a guy. He doesn't listen to Beis Din. So Adman says he's got an excuse. He's got a valid excuse. He has a valid claim. His claim on the field is a claim, and Shimon has to, and they'll go through the process now. But you can't just dismiss Reuven by saying, why did you sign on it? Because according to Adman, Reuven can say, I signed on it because I wanted to make sure it got by you, because I know that by you I'll have an easier time getting it back than if it was by Levi who sold it to you. The Chachamim and the sages say, Ibeid esachusai. Nope. Reuven has lost his right to the field. By the fact that he signed on it, as he signed as a witness on the sale of this field from Levi to Shimon, that makes him lose his rights to the field. He has no more right to challenge. Why? So here on the bottom in the notes, they bring down from the Meiri, the sages argue that if Reuven was telling the truth that he had signed only to make the recovery of his land easier, he would have privately said that to witnesses before signing. Meaning, according to the Chachamim, even if this guy has such a plan, he wouldn't do it without notifying others, right? That's why he's doing it. This looks much too much supporting the idea that he agrees to the sale. So to go ahead and sign it and not protest at the same time, that could have only have happened according to the sages if he would have told two witnesses about it. Meaning he would have told two witnesses who could come and testify that I'm telling you now, I'm only signing it because of that. Then it would have then maybe it would have been then it would have been a claim, but that's not what's happening over here. What's happening over here is there are no witnesses that he did that. The only thing that's left is the fact that he's trying to challenge, trying to say this was his intention. And we say to him, look, if you didn't tell witnesses that this was your intention when you were signing and looking like you agreed to this sale, then we cannot accept the fact that you just went ahead and signed it like that and made it and signed it, appearing that you agreed to the sale, you've lost your right. So according to the Chachamim, we can't just claim I did it to make it easier. The only way he would be able to have some kind of a claim if he brought witnesses to say that that's why he signed it, and he told witnesses that. Maybe to be honest, I'm not sure if that would help exactly. It could be it would help, but or at least make his claim better. But without being able to say that he told witnesses about it beforehand, to sign on it, which appears that he is supporting the sale, that the sale is good. That is the end of any kind of challenge to say I only did it to make it easier for me to get it from the buyer. Now, the last case, everybody agrees to. Asa'a simen la'acher ibed esachusai. If the case is like this, Shimon, who owns that field that's going to be challenged, he owns another field, and he sold that other field. Now, when he sells that other field, he wants to make boundaries. He wants to make signs, identification of what the boundaries of the field are. So what does he do? He writes in the document of sale of this other field, he says, and on this side of the field is this and this my field. Okay? Now, this and this my field that we're talking about, that's a sign for a boundary, that's the field that Reuben's going to challenge him about. But Reuven signed on that. Meaning Reuven signed on a document that's not about the sale, but about showing that there's a boundary here. Wait 1 second. Let me just back up on that for a second. Okay. Here, the case is that in the bill of sale, this field that's going to be challenged was used as a boundary. And Reuven signed on that. Meaning not only did he sign on the bill, he signed on the fact that this is a symbol, this is a boundary for this field. Okay, so again, you've got, let's try to make it easier here. You've got field A. Field A is the field that's going to be challenged. Field B is what Shimon is selling out to somebody else. One of the signs of the boundaries that Shimon writes in his bill of sale to this other person is that field B is on this side. He's trying to create a boundary. Now, Reuven, who wants to go ahead and lay claim and say that that's my field, right? The one that you're making as a boundary, Reuven signed on that document that says this field is a boundary. Now, the idea that this field is a boundary is not something that he can say, oh, I did that because it'll make it easier. It has no connection whatsoever. It's a completely, the whole point is he's signing that field is a sign for a field that's not involved in the argument, a different field that Shimon is selling. If he goes ahead and he signs on the bill of document that identifies the field that he wants to claim as a boundary for the other field that Shimon is selling, there's no excuse for that. Why do you sign on that? That has nothing to do. That field has nothing to do with you. For the field being sold has nothing to do with you. It's the field that's used as a boundary that has to do with you, and that's the field you're identifying as a boundary that it belongs to Shimon. You have no excuse to say, "Oh, I did that to make it easier for me to get back." That field has nothing to do with you, with this argument that you're having. And therefore, the fact that you went and you signed on the bill of document and you say that this is a boundary, that this field of Shimon is a boundary for the other field, that means that you're admitting and saying that that field belongs to Shimon. And therefore, even Admon would agree there to say that he has lost his rights to the challenge on the field once he does that. So even if Admon says that if we're talking about that, if the field itself, that he made himself a witness on the field that he contested. So Admon says you can go and you can claim and say I did it to make it easier for me, but to go ahead and sign on a bill of sale for a different field that has no connection to him, and he signs on that bill using the field that he wants to challenge as a boundary for the other field, there's no excuses for doing that. And therefore, by signing on it, that means he shows it belongs to Shimon, and therefore he cannot lay any claim to it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.